in the text box.
So my name is Ruth Chapman, and my husband Doug and I are the owners of the Norwest Outdoor Centre here in Thunder Bay. You needed to use math, first of all, for taking measurements. We had to measure distances between trees, and the rope that we used is a marine grade rope, which is very expensive, so you didn't want to be cutting the rope too short. So we had to know distances and measure the distances. We needed to use a come-along to tighten the ropes and get just the right tension on the ropes so that they're not going to sag too much. Plus I toured a couple outdoor centres in the States before we started working on the Norwest Outdoor Centre, and got some ideas from there. And then we just looked at the terrain and where we could fit things in, and then decided what type of rope situation would work best in that particular distance that we were working with. I think we had to change up some of our initial ideas just because of the distance. Like you can see, we're using trees here, and actually a couple trees have passed because they were fairly old trees that we started using, so we had to put in, get a fellow in with a digger and put in some posts in order to maintain that section that was initially there. So we had to, sort of look at the trees and go with what was in that area. Math was my minor, and I used to ask the kids, how many places do you use math when you leave school? And they'd all look at me pretty blank-faced. And I think I was sort of the same way, because not realizing how much math we needed to use to set up the courses. The cliff that we use for climbing is called Climbers Cliffs. And the cliff would be, 50, some of the climbs 60. There's a two-pitch climb there. So 60 meters high, and they are fairly challenging. They start at about a 5, 6, 5, 7. We get a lot of the kids from Lakehead University, from the outdoor rec program, and I have so many of those kids, after talking to them after they've been working here, say for the winter or the summertime, they're feeling pretty low about their profession and saying, like, where am I as an outdoor educator going to get a job? And I tell them, I said, oh my goodness, you can create what we have created at another location. And we went, of course, with what's in the environment here, with the trees and the cliffs and the rocks and everything. So that's why we focused on the low ropes and the climbing and the hiking and everything else. But they could be doing something at a farming situation, and that's in the outdoors, and there's farms everywhere. So they could be setting up their own outdoor center at some farming location and just completely changing the focus of what they're doing.